Hello, people. It's your boy Osman back again with another Manchester United podcast. As always, get yourself locked in. Obviously, get your comments in. Obviously, slap a like, subscribe to the channel. As you can see from the title, no, it's not clickbait. No, I'm not trying to get views. I get about 10 views a video, man. I'm not that desperate. Come on, man. It is what it is. Listen, we've got some conversation to be had today. The homie is in the building. Listen. The man does not need introduction. If you're not following him on TikTok, you need to be following. Of course, his YouTube's absolutely smashing it. His YouTube is in the title as well of the video, so make sure you go and subscribe to the homie as well. But listen, without further ado, the most handsome Turkish man I know, Zags is in the building. Brother, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. Listen, we've been going back and forth for a while on Twitter, to be fair. Obviously, I've known you for a long time as well, obviously following your content and stuff. So, of course, it's a pleasure to have you on. But in general, there's a lot to discuss. But we're going to start with the Champions League game. I know, just like myself, you're absolutely livid with that performance, bro. Chat to me, man. How are you feeling?
I mean, look, man, you've seen the video, innit? Like, anyone that doesn't follow the channel, watch the video, you already know my reaction.
Yeah.
It's a bittersweet one because I support Galatasaray as well. So it's like in a way, I'm not that upset about it, but I'm upset in the way we lost. Like, it's just the way it happened. I think with United, it was like it was cruise control, 2-1 up, thinking, all right, this should be like 3-4-1, really.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we give it away, and this team, they can snatch. What's the saying, man? They can snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, innit? Like that's this team is. This team could be looking like, all right, this dead and buried, and we just throw it away. And it's just, and a lot of it, comes down to the goalkeeper, which I'm gonna get into, and we'll obviously talk about this.
That's fine. You can get into it now if you want.
I feel like a lot of that result was based off the goalkeeper. Like, let's just be honest. It gives away a pass, which supposedly is supposed to be this great ball-playing goalkeeper that I've been told. You know what I'm saying? Like, on Twitter, that's what I've been told. And then we get a red card. Icardi misses the penalty. And then the third goal, he gets chipped from outside the box, bro. I can't, like, watch that goal again. How like, even the chip wasn't that mad. But this is the type of goalkeeper that, obviously, I know you wanted the hair out, but this is what the fan base, you guys are going to see, man. The hair wasn't easy to replace. Like, nah. This goalkeeper, how many mistakes has he made? He's just walked through the door.
Yeah, I mean, he's made a lot of mistakes. I mean, that chip was an absolute disgrace. I was saying it. I don't know who I was saying it to, but probably one of my colleagues, like, it actually kind of pissed me off that Icardi celebrated that much. Obviously, he's entitled to celebrate. Obviously, he just got the winner, essentially. But it was such a dead finish. Like, it was the deadest finish I've ever seen, bro. Like, it was a shocking chip. He basically did what Danny Welbeck did against Neuer. The only difference is Neuer stayed up and got the ball. Like, exactly. It was a shambolic chip. It was a shocking finish. But that being said, I can't sit and criticize him. Obviously, he scored. But Onana, I mean, obviously, I've been very vocal on my opinions on David De Gea. I wanted De Gea gone for a long time, actually. It wasn't even just last season. I wanted him gone before. Look, I've always loved De Gea. He's a club legend in my eyes. He always will be. But the truth of the matter is the club had to move on for me personally. I mean, yes, it was never going to be easy to replace De Gea. I mean, there's been a few times when I've gone to Old Trafford this season, and when I go to, I tend to get into the stadium quite early. And obviously, I just like to watch like the warm-ups and that kind of stuff. And it was so weird not seeing De Gea there. Like, I just always watched De Gea in the warm-up, like always, like, you know, watching De Gea, seeing how he's doing what, that kind of stuff. And it was just weird, like, not seeing him there. So I felt like, obviously, his presence was definitely missing that sense straight from the jump. But that being said, Onana has come in and just essentially proved people like himself right so far. Because obviously he's been in a car crash. I mean, he's been in shambles from start to finish. There's no other way to really sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and just, you know, because I wanted to hair out and just not basically die on this Onana hill. The truth of the matter is Onana has been nowhere near good enough for Manchester United. And the one thing I will say is I still stand by the fact that De Gea had to go. But on the opposite side, that doesn't mean I automatically think Onana is good enough for Man United. He has to prove himself, just like every other player who puts on that shirt. He has to prove that he's worthy to, play for Manchester United. So in this current time, he's definitely not covering himself in any glory. And by any means, he could be. I've seen a lot of people saying it. I'm just latching onto it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not me who said it first, but he could be our Bravo essentially. The person that comes in, and then
he's worse than Bravo. Like this is what I'm trying to say. Like
Edison, but look, at the end of the day, Onana has been an absolute shambles. But for me, I stand by it, Zach, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm so happy that he's not the club. Like I was fed up with him, bro. I can't lie. His passing,
but I think that's what it is, though. Like I think. It is, you've seen someone for 10 years, and I understand, like I said, I'm not saying that De Gea didn't need to go, but the way the whole fan base was like, anything that De Gea done, doesn't matter if he saved, clean sheet, nothing. He got 17 clean sheets, he didn't get no praise, right? All of like the fan base was so against him because, in my opinion, I actually feel they were just tired of seeing the same guy in net. And they were like, you know what? Well, everything else has changed. You're old news. Let's get rid of you. My whole thing is cool. That's fine. He's made mistakes, and when he made mistakes, I lost my rank. I ain't gonna lie. West Ham game, Sevilla game, cool, whatever. But the whole point of Onana wasn't to come in and be worse. That was my point. That is my whole point. If Onana come in and he was sick and we was actually playing good from the back and he was making saves, I won't say nothing because I want my team to do well. I'm not a hater. I'm not going to be like, I don't want to be right for the sake of our team getting relegated because of the goalkeeper. But at the same time, we just cool. I'm glad you kind of like admit it because a lot of fans were just like, oh, on this Onana hill. Onana, for me, he is better on the ball than De Gea. Just from your eyes, they can tell you that.
Yeah.
But how much is he better? Has he improved us? No. When I watch Man United, he gets onto the ball, he stands on it, and then he just boots it up to Rashford. We lose it, and it's like, what was the point? We might as well just had De Gea, because De Gea was doing that, and he was getting cooked. My whole thing is, it was all huge agenda against De Gea. He used anything and everything to bash him. Now we've got a new goalkeeper. He's doing the same mistakes that De Gea was doing, and even worse, because he shouldn't be really. Not on the ball. I didn't expect that. The third, the penalty thing. I'm like, at least be good on the ball better. Like you're not even that. So it's like, what are you bringing to this team?
I've got to be honest. Like I hear what you're trying to say, but I don't actually think he's been bad on the ball. I think that example that you've given is obviously he was shocking.
He's not great though.
No, obviously that that example. Obviously, that was an horrendous pass. But let's keep it real. How many times do you see other goalkeepers make that same mistake? And I'm not excusing it because if it was De Gea, I would have killed him as well. So for me personally, I'm not excusing it by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, I just feel like on the ball, he has definitely improved us. The only issue is the people he's passing to are the same players that De Gea were passing to, and they'd still not improved on the ball. And on that note, we have got a special guest. Johnny is in the building. Obviously, Johnny is very opinionated on a few players. But listen, it's good to get a third opinion. Obviously, just to balance the field out a bit. So yeah, welcome to the stream, the homie Johnny. Yes,
hello.
Yes, brother. How you doing?
What's going on, Johnny? Good.
It's my first time on your channel, man. Big up Usman, big up Socks. How we doing?
Yes.
How we doing?
Oh,
First of all, respect
to
you for letting me come on your channel. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're always welcome. You're always welcome. But listen, Johnny.
I'm saying things quite happily now, but I'm pretty sure it's going to turn angry in the next fucking 30 seconds when we get into this bunch of pussies. Language.
I love it.
I didn't know we could swear, man. I don't want to get you demonetized, dinnit?
Nah, you do it.
If you keep it like PG, I'll keep it PG. I'll try to keep it PG, but like, what version? Can I just speak freely?
Yeah, dude, say what you want to say, bro. Honestly, it's not that deep. Honestly, like, for the love. But Johnny, we're just talking about the goalkeeper situation before we get into the other players, which we definitely will address as well. What are your thoughts about the goalkeeper situation?
First of all, good evening to all your viewers, man. Everyone will give a like and subscribe and support us, man. He's a top guy, man. So appreciate that. Give him a follow. The goalkeeper situation. What the hell's going on here? Oh,
sorry.
He's not had a good start. Let's be honest. If being called this, Man United historically notoriously are not good with getting goalkeepers in. We go through goalkeepers probably more than any other position. It feels that way. I mean, look how many keepers went through till we got to Van der Sar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the goalkeeper position at Man United is notoriously a sticky one at best of times. Excuse me. It's not had a good. Excuse me. He's not had a good start to the season. I don't. It's very hard. I don't go too hard on him. But the thing is, yeah, there's just some mistakes that are they're just unforgivable, Usman. There's some of the things is forgivable. Like I don't know if he's suffering from confidence. I don't know if like we all know the Man United shirt wears heavy on the best of players. Like it's not an easy shirt to carry. It carries a lot of responsibility on that shirt. Being the Man United number one, you get a lot of screw. But a lot of people have got a bit of resentment because David De Gea left. A lot of people felt David De Gea should have still been in that position. I personally don't feel that way. He needs to be, if being honest.
No. That's not what I was saying. I was saying that I said De Gea had to go, but the person that we had to get in had to be better than De Gea, not just as good or worse. That's my point.
I personally wanted I wanted sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. Like if you could give me like sort of 5 to 6 in every department as a goalkeeper, I would have taken rather than specialise in say just shot stopping, which De Gea was supposed to have done especially in his prime, right? But in other areas of his game, he was really lacking. So I personally wanted a keeper that gave us the sort of something decent in all areas. You know, like a kind of a good all-round goalkeeper. And other than his distribution, I've got to be honest, he's really not impressed me at all. And again, I know it's his first season, and I want to give him time, and I'm willing to give him time. But like for example, that hospital pass to give Casemiro overnight, like I can't forgive that. It's in a Champions League game like that. Like the room for margin or the margin of error in them type of games is so minimal. And it's decisions like that, you know, the sitter that Marcus Rashford missed, right? It's pivotal moments like that in a game that swing a game away from you. And before you know it, you've lost the game, as we did. So that hospital pass, which I expect better from him because he's supposed to be extremely good with his distribution. That's supposed to be his strength, right? And then look, people are blaming Casemiro. I think Casemiro took one for the team personally, in my opinion. But I think I think people are being harsh blaming him for that. But yeah, look, he's not had a good start to his United career. And there's been far too many mistakes that are reoccurring too quickly. And honestly, I don't think he's good enough, Usman. Maybe that sounds a bit premature to say that. And I would understand people.
I don't think it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Look, obviously, what I said to Zogs before he came on, for me, he has to prove himself like every other person that puts the shirt on. At this moment in time, he's not covered himself in glory. I actually didn't want. He wasn't my number one choice. I think someone in the chat actually put who my choice was actually. Mine was always Costa. I know he didn't have a good World Cup for Portugal, but I always wanted Costa. I thought he was the perfect keeper. Or Raya. The only reason I changed my opinion on Onana was because of his Champions League performance. I thought he was absolutely ridiculously good. And to be honest, it's a bit disappointing to be honest. Like the two things he's good at is obviously the ability on the ball, but secondly, his ability off the line. We haven't seen that in the United shirt at all. I mean, he hasn't come off his line at all. I mean, even for the Icardi one, like it was quite clear before it materialized that Icardi was going to be thrown goal because obviously Amrabat was playing him on side, but where he didn't come off his line. Like
no, the third goal, the third goal.
The third goal.
He never comes off. He stays at home.
He's trying to be Neo out Matrix, like just ducking underneath it, man.
It was absolutely baffling. I mean,
let's just be honest. If this was De Gea, we would all, well, not me, but everyone else would have been like, he's this, he needs to go, We've got another goalkeeper who's not as good as De Gea. Let's just be honest. He does, in terms of playing out from the back, have we improved? Yeah, kind of. But I knew that goalkeeper wasn't. Hold on. The goalkeeper, I could tell that even if we got Ederson, let's just say, yeah, everyone knows, great goalkeeper playing out for the ball. The rest of the team is poor on the ball, so it doesn't matter what the goalkeeper does. The rest of the team can't keep the ball, and this is why we were blaming De Gea because he was booting it out. But the reality is our midfield keeping the ball? No. Is our attackers keeping the ball? No. We've seen it with a ball playing goalkeeper, and we're not good. We're not good, and it's like, what was the point? We're gonna get to the coach in a minute, But
I think should we get onto the coach now? Because obviously, just before we get into it, let's just get a couple of comments in the chat. Obviously, as always, thank you everyone for tuning in. Yusuf in the chat said we cannot control proper football. Not going to say what he said there. In team and Ted Lasso don't have balls to drop him. Okay, we're going to get onto the Ten Hag thing because I think obviously there's a few people putting the comments in. Obviously, as United Way said, please do smash like on the video and of course subscribe to thy channel. I have got a FIFA stream at 10:30. Maybe pro clubs with the family. Like I said earlier, we're absolutely shocking. It's just a bit of fun of us just basically taking the piss at each other essentially. But yeah, let's get onto the topic of the show basically, which is Ten Hag. So obviously Ten Hag and obviously Bruno, Rashford, etc. But let's start with Ten Hag. Of course, Ten Hag is the manager. Zogs, we'll start with you because you've gone on record very proudly with chest your Ten Hag out. So please do explain your thoughts.
Simple as I don't think he's good enough to take Man United where we need to be. I was promised a coach. I ain't seen it. I think last year, and give credit because we won the League Cup and we got top 4, but it was a poor season last season. Liverpool went at the races, and if a few games went on, they probably would have picked us to 4th. But he overachieved. I'm not going to discredit him for that. He dealt with big decisions. Some I agree, some I don't. But this season, I'm just looking at a manager, and I don't want to go too hard on him, innit? Because at the end of the day, I don't like none of these players either. So let's just get that out of the way. I don't really like the players, and I'd rather see the players gone before the manager, but I know how this goes. He's gone. I just don't think what we was promised, we are getting out of Ten Hag. And this season, his body language has changed. Even at preseason, I noticed it. Saying things that he just wasn't saying last season. And it's just certain ways. I think for me, he reminds me of like Rafa Benitez in a way that he's a coach, he's a tactician, but he's not a people person. He's not a manager like that. So I think that's why he's seen falling out with Sancho or Ronaldo or a Maguire or God knows who. So that's my thing. Do I feel like he's going to take us to challenge Pep and Klopp? No. So it's like, why are we just, let's raise the standards a bit. If this was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he would have got cooked. Jose Mourinho got cooked. Van Gaal got cooked. Is this guy any different from them? That's all I got to say.
Right, okay, that's fair. I mean, look, for me personally, just straight off the bat, like, obviously, you got to hold every manager to the same account. At the end of the day, my energy is the same for Ten Hag, Ali, yada, yada, yada. But the football has not been good under Ten Hag at all. Let's call it a book. I'm sure most of us will agree with that. It's been nowhere near good enough. For me personally, I expect more in the second season. The first season, I kind of give him a bye to an extent because he just inherited so much background. There's obviously got to factor in the Greenwood situation, the Maguire situation, stripping off the captaincy, Ronaldo situation. Obviously, you know, we don't agree on that sort of completely, but we don't get into that. I think he dealt with a lot to come third. Regardless of what's happening with Liverpool at X, Y, and Z, and to win a trophy, I thought he did overachieve to the extent. I wasn't too critical of the football this season. For me, I needed to see improvements of the football, and the biggest issue I have with Ten Hag is the same issue I've had with Oli, Jose, etc., etc. They've got their favourites, and I think for me personally, that is at the detriment of Manchester United Football Club, and this is why you got to put respect on Pep Guardiola's name. It doesn't matter who you are. You can hold bench. You're not starting. It does not matter. And this is why Pep Guardiola is so successful, because he keeps 25 elite players happy. I mean, the amount of times Foden's gone 3, 4, 5 games not starting, Sterling when he was there, Mahrez, etc., Sane when he was there. There were so many players that were top quality that would walk into the United team, not starting for City. Yes, they have the strength and depth, but somehow he kept them happy. And for me, I just think with Ten Hag, what we saw under Oli is there's 2 players in particular. I know Johnny agrees with me. There's 2 players in particular that keep starting regardless of their performances. We'll get into it. Sure, I'm gonna let Johnny get into it. How about that? But them
You're
2
gonna get
players
demonetized right now.
Nah, I don't even care about the monetization. I can't even lie. But them two players, yeah, they're gonna cost Ten Hag his job basically. For me, He needs to be a bit more ruthless. He needs to put, he needs to put a marker down. He needs to set the precedent, and he needs to drop said individuals for the greater good of the team. It's for me as a United fan growing up. I've had Beckham, Keane, blah blah blah, all these players. The way I've always seen it, you play on merit. He's basically doing a Southgate. He's picking players based on name. I mean, Maguire and Phillips are still in that team over Ward-Prowse and X, Y, and Z. Like, why the hell are these guys getting selected? Why are these guys starting for Manchester United? It does not make sense. So, pick players on merit. If they're not on form, drop them. It's as simple as that. Bruno Fernandes has not had 2 good games back-to-back in about 18 months. I don't care what anyone tells me. He's maybe had a good 45 minutes. He's maybe had a good 30 minutes and maybe had good moments. I don't really care. That Burnley goal, unbelievably good goal. There's no denying that he won us the game in terms of that action. His overall performance wasn't good enough, as wasn't Casemiro's, Rashford, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't just him. But the point I'm making is he needs to change something. You keep doing the same thing. The definition of sanity, expecting different outcomes. You can't keep picking the same players and shoehorning Bruno into the team when you just paid 60 million for Mason Mount. Pick one. If you can't play them both, they don't work. There's never been a time that we played with both of them that I thought, wow, we actually look like a football team. We actually look like a team that's actually got something about us. We look completely clueless. We look dysfunctional, unbalanced, and that is down to Ten Hag. So that, for all those reasons, I do agree with you, Zogs. He is making a lot of mistakes that will criticize Oli, and I will hold him accountable. Before passing to Johnny, the reason I'm not Ten Hag out is because I also believe that if a new manager came in, let's just say Zidane for argument's sake, because I don't know who else is out there really that's worthy of United, but let's just say Zidane comes in tomorrow, I don't think he can change this team overnight because a lot of the issues are the players. The same players are still there. The same fragile players that when shit doesn't go our way, they completely capitulate. How are you going to bottle it against Galatasaray at home? When we went 2-1 up, when Højlund scored, you're telling me we should be slapping them 4-5-1 at that point. I mean, for me, like, yes, Ten Hag is definitely to blame, but I'm going to pass it to you, Johnny. What are your thoughts on the manager situation? Obviously, you've heard 2 different opinions on the matter. Where do you stand?
First of all, can you hear me clearly? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not in the best area. I've lost faith in the manager. I'm just going to be upfront about it. I think I've got valid, justified reasons for losing faith. I'm not Ten Hag out. Now, that sounds like a contradiction straight away because, like, if I've lost faith in him, then I should be Ten Hag out, right? But I don't see another manager fixing this problem. I really don't. And I hate these players. I hate these players more than I hate the manager. I don't hate the manager. He's annoying with what he's doing, but I fucking hate these players, right? But the manager's not helping himself, Usman. He's not. He's making the same. I'm getting so many Oli vibes. It's fucking frightening. He's doing the same shit Oli was doing. The football's trash. He's got his favourites. He's making bad in-game decisions, late substitutions, wrong lineups. He's just getting everything wrong. Now, I don't care what the manager is. But outside of Fergie, I walk back no manager blindly. Fergie had so much credit in the bank. I'd have followed him off. I'd have walked up a cliff with him. I love that man. Right? He had so much credit. He won so much for us. Fergie's in his own level. We leave him alone. But post Fergie, I'm simply I walk back a manager blindly. I won't do it. I fucking refuse to. Would you, like, in any walk of life, would you continue following someone that keeps making the same mistakes? You wouldn't do it. No. If your missus kept cheating on you, are you gonna, and I know people use that analogy a lot, but it's very relevant. If your missus kept cheating on you, are you going to keep going back to her? Or are you going to, like, move on? Do you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
That sounds like watching United.
Legit, bro. Keep coming back, man. When you know it's just
keep coming back. You just know Saturday he's paying, but we're coming back.
At his first season, right? I understand where he picks us up from, right? We have to bring perspective into this, right? We was on our knees when he came into Man United. I remember that. He had the Ronaldo situation, which I'm fully on the manager's side for that. Fuck Ronaldo, good riddance. He had the Maguire situation. He's had let's not even get into that one.
Yeah, Zogs is a huge Ronaldo fan as well. I love it.
Yeah. It means Zogs will be just going to White. It won't end up.
Yeah, honestly, we'll be on that.
But I understand he's had a lot to deal with, right? Which I sympathise with, right? First season, the football was trash. No one can tell me anything different. The football was trash. There was a few glimpses here and there, but largely it was trash, right? But I forgot that. I thought, you know what, fair enough, because he won a trophy for the first time since 2018 or 2017, and he secured Champions League football. So I'm like, cool, fair enough, right? We have the summer transfer window, pre-season comes, but now going into second season, Usman, I'm expecting to see something. I'm expecting to see an
Definitely.
upturn in the football that we're watching. Right? There's been no upturn in the football. I'd argue it's got worse. It's not got better. Right? I think we're 10 games in all competitions into the season. The football's diabolical. It's it's painful to watch. Right? Now, I am all about giving managers time and giving them leeway and allowing the manager to make mistakes. I'm not expecting him to be flawless. I'm not expecting him to be like do nothing wrong, be faultless. But Jesus Christ, I expect you to get more things right than you're getting wrong. Right now, he's getting more things right. In fact, I don't think he's getting anything right. I don't think he's getting no right. The in-game management is not good enough. The lineups are not good enough. The style of play is non-existent, right? The results are shocking. So I ask you, it's a fair question, right? And I swear to God, I wish I could get on the United because I'd be cooking them lot, right? What is he doing for me? Honestly, objectively speaking, what is he giving to me for me to buy into? What he's trying to sell me, I'm not buying that. Like, but let's just be honest about it and be fair. What we're seeing on the pitch, whether it's a Wednesday night, whether it's a Saturday afternoon, I can't buy into that, Usman. Just can't buy into. And I won't back him. I'm not saying that I want him sacked. I want him to turn it around. But I'm not going to sit here and chat shit and say I've got faith in him. He's getting too many things wrong, Usman, right? In the second season. And sorry, this is Man United Football Club. It's not charity. It's not charity FC. It's Man United. And I also understand, because I've no doubt some of you will be saying, excuse me, some of your viewers will be saying, oh, but Johnny, it's the Glazers. Listen, I understand. Yeah, I'm very cognizant of the fact the Glazers are a big problem. And I would attribute 90%, if not 95% of the problems at Manchester United at Joel and Abraham's door, right? Let's just get that out of the way. But what goes on Carrington training, what goes on match day, that's not, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. That's not Joel's fault. That's not Abraham's fault. That's the manager, the players, and the coaches. That's on them. And what they're producing on match day this season so far, and last season, let's be honest, in terms of style of football, it's unacceptable. So, yes, I have lost faith in him. Am I calling for his head? No, because I don't see another manager that's going to come in and fix this. How many managers have we been through? I'm sick of sacking managers. So, I'm like, caught between a rock and a hard place. I really am like, I don't know what to do. I don't like the players. I can't stand them. I want them gone before the manager, but I understand football doesn't work that way. The manager's always going to be the first one to lose his job, right? I also think you could bring Conte, Allegri, Simeone. I went Father Christmas for the fairy godmother. They're not going to fix the team, right? So my only hope at this point, which I think is the most sensible position to be in, is that the manager throws a pair of balls, drops these big stars, and I'll get onto Rashford and Bruno in a minute when we get onto them, right? Don't worry, I'm going to cook them. But he needs to drop, and by the way, it's not just Rashford and Bruno. It's not all on them, but they're some of the big culprits, right? But he needs to grow a pair of balls, Usman. Realise that
look, the way I see it, I do agree with a lot of what you said. But before I carry on, I just want to get some of the comments because there's quite a contrast in the chat, which is understandable. So, firstly, Adam Dar, I don't know why I've said the government name. I do apologize, but it's what it is. If the Glazers gave him the right players, he would do madness. What is he supposed to do when he needs a centre back and gets Evans? Obviously, the left back situation is obviously diabolical. 3 out of 4, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but 3 out of 4, the back line is injured. Obviously, that's never going to be easy in terms of how he wants to play. He's never really had an opportunity to play Amrabat and Casemiro in midfield. Obviously, we'll see if that changes anything. Minor potentially could change something as well. Again, just playing devil's advocate. Obviously, the Sancho situation hasn't been great. Obviously, Anthony's situation, he's not on the right wing for the best part of 3 games at least. And to be fair, I personally don't rate Anthony anyways, but that is what it is. Yusuf, on the flip side, is agreeing with Zogs. High standards in training ground and standards and no standards in the match. He also put in the comment, which was absolutely hilarious. That fun. Ten Hag punishes players for being late to training, but he praises players who go on the pitch and get panned by Brighton and Palace. I mean, you can't really dispute that. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And Andrew Ellis as well is saying, big up Usman and Zog, and obviously big up Johnny as well. Listen, keep getting your comments in. Obviously, I'm going to keep putting them on the screen. Obviously, I do apologize if I don't read any of them out, but we'll, of course, put them on the screen. Of course, keep slapping a like, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Look, for me personally, regarding the Ten Hag situation, there are a lot of things about him I do criticize, but I think Johnny, right at the end, I kind of sympathize with him to an extent. Mainly because I do think that a lot of these players are the reason that Man United aren't successful. The reason I criticize him is because he needs to drop them. He needs to understand that these players aren't bigger than the club. He needs to start taking accountability and actually, you know, making those big calls. I mean, the Ronaldo call was kind of handed to him on a play, although I praise him for it. The Ronaldo situation was handed to him on a play because Ronaldo, you know, made his own bed because he obviously wanted to get out of the club. And obviously, you know, it was quite easy to terminate his contract. So although you can praise Ten Hag, I think I praise him for not necessarily starting Ronaldo when he didn't feel it was, you know, it was the right thing to do, and he stood by his guns. So from that perspective, I respect him for at least staying true to his word to an extent. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of these players have been here for countless managers now. I mean, look, you're looking at like Rashford. We'll just use Rashford as an example. Martial's, Luke Shaw. There's so many, Scott McTominay, Fred. There's so many. Fred's gone now, but there's so many players that have been here for like 3-4 managers, and they've underperformed in every manager. So for me, it just comes down to the fact that I just feel like there's a bigger overarching issue with the squad. And the one thing that pisses me off about Ten Hag, and the one thing I'll get onto him is, why does he keep shoehorning players into the wrong position? Like, he needs to stop doing that. Bruno Fernandes is not a right winger. Please stop playing him at right wing. He hasn't had one good game at right wing. Like, not even one time he's had a good game. Like, nothing higher than a 5 at right wing. You can't name your game. And people criticize Bruno or not criticize him. That's just beside the point. It's the manager's fault for persisting and playing him there. Like, stop playing him there. He's not good there. Lindelof has been poor. Keeps getting the start. I mean, Johnny Evans actually played well against Burnley, and he hasn't had a game since. So, you know, little things like that. Obviously, Amrabat quite clearly, we know he's not left back, but quite clearly he can't play left back to save his life. Understandably, you know, he's a centre mid, but then he keeps getting picked there. I mean, I know it's only been 3 games now. I've seen a stat that Amrabat's only played left back 6 times in his whole career, and 3 times at Manchester United, which I just thought that's the most Manchester United stat. Like, just play the players in the right position and go back to the basics. I mean, we got Casemiro doing absolute nonsense on the ball 24/7. We got Bruno Fernandes constantly losing the ball 24/7. We got Marcus Rashford running into players 24/7. Why are they all starting? When are we going to stop punishing people? You know, you punish Sancho, rightfully so in my personal opinion, although massive fan of Jadon Sancho. But again, it's not about Sancho, it's about the standards. You punished him rightly, held him accountable. When are you going to start holding people accountable on the pitch for the poor performances? Dropping stinkers week in, week out, still playing. We have got other options. Maybe not as talented, but they might do a job. They might at least give them a chance. They can't do worse than what's on the pitch. So, and the last thing before I pass it to you, Zogs, what's like, if you look at that cup game, yes, we played against poor teams. There's no denying that. Galatasaray aren't amazing. Obviously, you'll be able to give more information on that than myself. But like, what was there was a massive difference. Like, do you feel like he's just sticking by the big names, or do you think it's just it comes down to obviously these players? Like, let's just use Bruno and Rashford because let's not beat around the bush. They're the 2 players that I've named about 9 times. So, you know, what are your thoughts on the Bruno and Rashford situation? Should either be starting? Should we not group them together? Is a different conversation for a different player there? Like, where do you sit on them two in particular? Because they're the most noticeable people that are currently off form to an extent.
It's like what Cam said, man, and I mean, I've been saying this as well. If Bruno and Rashford are your best players, you're getting 3rd, 4th, 5th. I think this is the problem at United. Like, we hang our hat on players that should be squad players, really part of a squad that could win a title, but they're our first team. We're playing week in, week out. Yes, Rashford had a purple patch last season. Everything he shot went in, every little 50-50 fell for him. He banged. He was on a mad team. But the season before, he got 4 or 5 goals. Didn't look like it could be asked. And then now, we're seeing it again. So this is the thing. At what point? He's been here since 2015. 2015, you know. Like, like, bro, I was still in education when this guy done his day. Like, this is what I'm saying. He's still here. We're still having these problems. Bruno, I know Johnny obviously hates Bruno. I laugh every time I see him tweet about Bruno. Bruno's one of them players that he will frustrate the shit out of you, but then he will pop up with a moment in a game that may win a game, like the Burnley thing, and you're like, he's one of them players where, like, that's him. He's a moments player. I don't like watching both of them play. and it's like what you said. The manager has favorites, right? But I'm sitting there thinking, I don't like Maguire. Dead food. But how much he must be thinking? Looking at our defense getting packed 3 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals. He's sitting there thinking, why can't I not play? I'm here. Why can't I not play? I don't like Sancho, but I'm sure he's thinking, what's he doing in front of me? And I think this is down to Ten Hag. This is down to Ten Hag in the way he manages. He's got his clear favorites, and it doesn't matter what they do, he will get them out. And if he don't rate a player, he don't give them time. He don't give them nothing. He's done it with Ronaldo. He's done it with Sancho. He's done it with Maguire. He does it with whoever player that he don't rate, and you can tell he don't rate. He doesn't give them the confidence. I think at the moment, I look at a team and I see they are not playing for the manager. They're not running for the manager because there's a divide between, look, I said, you think Rashford is not, they're mates with Sancho. So whatever's going on, they obviously probably looking at it like, raw, like that's actually pretty mad. But at the same time, it's like, you still want to get on with your job, but you know, like maybe he's done him dirty or you can see his side of it. They're in the middle. It's not, no pun intended, it's not a united team. Do you know what I mean? And you can see that on the pitch. And as soon as something goes against us, we fall apart like a deck of cards. Against Galatasaray, just to touch on them, because obviously they won the league last year. So they got winning spirit. That's number one. Number two, they came back 2-2 against Copenhagen. So this team goes all the way to the end. So I knew, even though we should be beating them, we should always put respect on another team to always fight towards the end. They were always in that game because we are at our worst and they're probably at their best. So they were always in that game. And then as soon as we scored, they scored, and then the belief was sucked out of us, even though we was at home and we was playing better. And we just have a fragile confidence. I think that comes down to the manager. Because if this was Oli or Jose or whatever, I actually think it does. The manager has to motivate these players.
But it's been the same case, like under the same managers that you just mentioned. I'm not saying he's faultless, but I do think, I actually think we need to start looking at the players. I actually think the players.
Hold on. I hear what you're saying. Onana's his player. Amrabat is his player. He's obviously favoured Dalot, right, out of Wan-Bissaka, even though Wan-Bissaka didn't give him a chance to because it was that good. Casemiro is his player. Eriksen is his player. He's hanged his hat on Bruno and Rashford, and then Anthony come on. And Højlund's his player. To be fair, he's the only one that actually come out the game with any praise. So when we say he hasn't got his players or he hasn't been backed, because I saw this comment, he's been the most backed manager out of every Manchester United manager I have ever seen. He's got rid of the players he's wanted to.
Nah, come on, man.
Well, hold on. He's brought in 5 players in his first season. He brought in Martinez, Casemiro, who was the other one? Eriksen, Anthony, and then brought in and then he got rid of Ronaldo, brought in Weghorst and Savitzer, right? And then go to this season, he's brought in a goalkeeper that he wanted. He's brought in a midfielder that he wanted. He's brought in who else is brought? A striker.
Ireland, yeah. I'm
like, Jose, Oli, they did not get this.
Oli was.
They did not. No way. This is the most backed manager.
Oh man. But listen. Obviously, regarding the players, yeah. Obviously, I understand what you're saying in terms of like the mentality. Obviously, at the end of the day, the book definitely does start with the manager. But for me, it's just too many different managers, same issues. That's the way I see it. That's why I'm not Ten Hag out, because I feel like we need to stop the cycle of sacking the manager and hitting the reset button and assuming that a new manager is going to come and fix the mess. The truth of the matter is the mess is a lot bigger than just the manager. Yes, he needs to fix things. Yes, we can be critical of not having a pair of balls to drop his favourites. I completely agree with all that sentiment. I understand that, and I actually think it's going to get a lot worse than it gets better anytime soon. But on the flip side, I genuinely, hand on heart, don't think that, let's just say, I'm just going to keep saying Zidane, but let's just say Zidane walks through the door. I genuinely don't think he turns it around like within a season. And I know people will say, obviously Andrew's doing it at Spurs. I understand that. And obviously other people will say Eddie Howe's doing a great job. And I get that. There's other examples. But Manchester United, for whatever reason, regardless of who the manager is, have always had struggles. And I think for me, we got to just look at it and know what, we might actually have to go through pain. Ten Hag might not necessarily be the right man, but we just need to go through this phase where we eventually back the manager over the players, and the players get the picture that they are basically replace it. Because I actually think a lot of these players think that they're untouchable, which pisses me off more than anything. Because a lot of them, in my personal opinion, aren't fit to wear the shirt. I mean, we're gonna pass it to obviously Johnny. Before we do, obviously, just want to give a quick warning. If you've got headphones in, just a quick disclaimer. When Johnny's talking about Bruno Fernandes, he gets pissed off. Look, I agree with everything you're gonna say, Johnny. I already know what you're gonna say, but it is what it is. But listen, before we get on to Johnny, make sure you slap a like, keep subscribing to the channel. There's a lot of people agreeing with Zogs, to be fair, regarding tonight. I do think a lot of people are fed up, and I understand. I completely get the sentiment. It's bleak. The situation is bleak. Niall is saying players need to stand up and be counted for. I still can't smell the coffee. I do think I'm blaming the players more than the manager, but that's just me personally. Anyways, Johnny, the floor is yours. Whatever you want to talk about, any players, up to you.
First of all,
yeah.
Obviously been getting some love and appreciation in comments, so which is a lot, which usually I get abused for being honest. So appreciate that from the dog.
you're my thinking that's probably why, because we probably
Rashford and Bruno. I call these the enemies of progress. They're the enemies of progress. See Bruno, this fucker man is fucking become untouchable at this football club. He's fucking untouchable, and I don't know why. He ain't like prime David Silva. He's not even like fucking prime Pogba. The way this fan base treats this fucking prick is like fucking. He's like a god. They treat him like he's a messiah. He's not a messiah. He's not God. He can't walk on fucking water. Can't do it. And you all criticise Pogba for when he was out of position. But when he's out of position, oh no, he's on right wing. We can't play him there. But when Pogba's moved out of position, we didn't have the same energy. Didn't have the same energy. Why? Fucking our fan base is full of fucking hypocrites. Full of fucking hypocrites. This guy is the biggest fucking false image in 21st century of football. He doesn't turn up in big games, and everyone comes off mute when he starts showing up against fucking Luxembourg and cannon for the teams. But when we need him against big teams, more often than not, where is he? Where was he at Arsenal this season? Where was he at Spurs when Madison ran fucking around him? Where was he? Non-existent. Applying for the fucking next Casper movie as the fucking ghost. That's where he was. He's a fucking clown. Rashford and Bruno are like Laurel and fucking Addy, a pair of fucking jokers, a pair of them. Think Rashford was fooling me last season with his fucking GA? No, I watched the footballer. I watched what he's doing in fucking games. No GA's going to fucking fool me. This fan base is blinded by GA. Oh, Bruno, chance creation. What else does he do in a game? Outside of his chance creation, what does he do? There's more to a football match than just creating chances. You don't create chances for 90 fucking there. No, there's more to a footballer. Controlling the ball, recycling possession. There's more elements to a game of football than just fucking chance creation and GA. Yeah, it's got a fucking world-class goal against Burnley. Give him credit to that. Beautiful, exquisite finish. What did he do for the rest of the game? Fuck all. It was shit. Only good game he's had this season against fucking Forest. And people want to fucking come off mute and at me because he had a good game against Forest. But when it was against decent or top teams, the guy's a fucking shower of shit. Shower of fucking shit. And I swear, guys, it's a good job I'm not a fucking United stand because Beth would be getting fucking cooked the way she praises this guy. Like,
we don't need to bring Beth into it. Beth is the homie.
Hey, she needs to get cooked still. Like, I'm with Johnny on this.
Listen. The homie. I don't agree with a lot of her opinions. I can't lie, but
listen, there's too many fucking fan base that are protecting this guy. He's protected like he's got more protection than fucking Queen. She's fucking dead now. It's a joke, man.
I actually think people are just paid, bro. That's why I
don't listen. The manager, I agree with Zogs. The manager's looking fucking clueless right now. Why are you putting him on right wing? We all got eyes. We've all been watching him. It don't fucking work. Stop doing it. Overnight, why are you putting Amrabat left back? He's not a fucking left back. He's not a left back. He doesn't have a great game, and then people are cooking him. It's not his fucking fault. That's on the fucking manager. Play players in your strongest position. I don't know if you've noticed, but you're sinking right now in quicksand. You know, your players in their strongest position. And if Bruno is as good as you think he is, even though I think he's a fucking scrub, proper fucking scrub, but if you think he's that good, at least put him in his strongest position, give you the best opportunity to win the fucking game. Like Rashford and Bruno, yeah, I go hard on them too. I'm not saying it's just Rashford and Bruno's fault. It's not just their fault. It's a team game, right? It's not just on them. But I go so hard on them too because this fucking fan base put them on such a pedestal. I'm like, cool, I'm going to hold you to that standard then. I'm holding you to that. Even though I know inherently they're not at that level, you put them up there, I'm going to hold them to that fucking standard. And then when people like me do, I get abused for it. Stop overrating these players. I've been saying, Usman, for the last 2 fucking years. Over 2 years. This fucking squad is bang average. Bang fucking average. And I get abused for it. I get called a Liverpool fan, a Leeds fan, a fake fan, Mr. Negative, talking shit, Johnny, you got no ball knowledge. All these things. What's happening now? I've been telling you this for 2 fucking years. These players aren't good enough. When's the penny going to fucking drop in people's heads? And if it doesn't apply to you, don't get triggered. But if it fucking applies, have a long look in the fucking mirror. These fucking players aren't good enough. And I'm not saying that the manager is above criticism, because he absolutely isn't. But these players that he's relying on to try and deliver results, they're fucking failing him. Rashford. Let me talk about Rashford. No, but
Go
like,
ahead.
you know Rashford, yeah? Rashford is not a bad footballer. But what he's doing this season is a crime against football. What he's doing is like, we need to call Crime Stoppers because there's a fraud going on. He needs resting and be dead fucking serious. I said before we played that fucking what game was it? Not Crystal Palace, Galatasaray game. I said the tweet is still there. I said before that game, if he starts Bruno Rashford tonight and we fucking lose, they're just thinkers. That's it. What happened? He started him. What did they do? Rashford wasn't a stinker, but it wasn't a good game. Bruno stinker again. Rashford missed a fucking sitter. Gilt-edged chance. You threw on fucking goal. You're supposed to be. You want to do this fucking celebration like you got a fucking brain? Yeah. Threw on fucking goal. Where was your IQ then? Where was it? Where's your confidence? And people try to blame fans because they made wrong decision. Fuck that shit. That's not fucking you.
That was the biggest load of nonsense I saw on Twitter. When I saw that, I was like, this fan base needs to get
The dumbest tweet I've ever seen.
Right? The bottom line is, yeah, your fucking ass fell out. Your fucking ass fell out. You didn't have the fucking ball and you fucked it up. And the bottom line is, there's too many of these fucking pretenders at Man United that are not fit enough to wear a shirt. It ain't just about ability. It ain't just about effort levels. It's about what you got there, your fucking mentality. That's what Roy Keane had. Paul Ince, Scholes, Giggs, Beckham. I can keep fucking going. Stam, Pallister. They all had that mentality. Wayne Rooney, the epitome of mentality. They had that fucking killer mentality. They could wear the shirt. It didn't all day on them. They carried it with fucking with bravery and courage. I don't see that in this team. It's not just Rashford. There's so many of these players. They're just fucking pretenders, man. They're pretenders. And I get abused for it. I don't say this for clicks or for likes and for retweets. Do you think I like going on my own fucking team? Do you think I like being perceived as negative? No, I just call a spade a fucking spade. I just call it as I see it. The manager's not delivering. He's not doing well right now. And these players are fucking bang average. I'll finish on this one, right? Apparently, Luke Shaw's world class. Apparently, Martinez, new centre-back's world class. Apparently, Varane's world class. Apparently, Wan-Bissaka's best defensive right back in fucking Europe. Apparently, Casemiro's world class. Apparently, Bruno's world class. Apparently, Eriksen's world class. Apparently, Rashford's world class. So if we've got all these fucking world class players, why do it like a pile of fucking shit all the time? If all these fucking top players, why would pile of shit? I'll tell you what the truth is. We've got mid-tier players on top-tier fucking wages. That's what we've fucking got. Fucking, I'm sick of it. I know I've gone off on a fucking rant there, but...
Oh, mate, you were absolutely spitting facts. And to be fair, the chat absolutely loves you, Johnny. So you're clearly welcome here because the chat loves you. So honestly,
I'm not lying though. Anything he's saying is just true. It's just because he's just abrasive about it and he's being honest about it. People don't like the truth. And I think to his point, I think it's this club. They just don't want winners, bro. They don't want high standards. They don't want high expectations. They don't want it. They like players that are useless. This is why Bruno's and Rashford's and other players have just got away with shit for so long. It's not just those two. There's other players before and after. Yeah. But when real winners come into this place, they either just get laughed out of town, or they just get sacked, or it just look like they're the problem. And I'm like, the problem is the club. The club has curated all this stuff. All these players he was naming, first of all, they got their more ability than the players we have anyway, on top of the mentality. But the mentality in this club comes obviously from the top down. So I don't rate the manager that much. But like I agree to the point that even if he ducks, that we all know that this is a pile of shit because it's from the top down. It's just been created this way because the people at the top do not care about being best in class. They don't care about winning. I mean, it's obvious because we haven't won in 10 years. And it's just filtering down. And that's why our standards have dropped lower and lower and lower.
I want to speak.
I mean, look. Yeah, no, I know. For me, look, obviously, it definitely comes back.
Listen, this captain said, and I know it comes across like look, I openly do have a Bruno Rashford agenda. I don't deny it. I have, and I've got it for good reason. But what I'm about to say, honestly, on my son's life, what I'm about to say is not agenda driven. I'm being dead objective and fact right here, right? The captain, I think giving him the captaincy is up there with us, Iron Ole, and giving Maguire captaincy, right? And I'm not going to explain the reasons why. Your captain, yeah. There's different ways of leadership, right? There's not one way to skin a cat. I understand there's you don't always have to be barking orders to be a leader, right? I get that, right? But ultimately, when chaos ensues, right? You as a captain, you're supposed to still have rational thoughts and thinking and composure in your mind, irrespective of what's going on around you. You're supposed to rise like bread in the fucking oven, yeah, when shit goes wrong. Because you're supposed to be the one that when shit goes wrong, you inspire your teammates. You're the man that stands out, like Roy Keane, like David Beckham, like Wayne Rooney. They stood out when shit the fan. They stood out and they rose to the fucking challenge, and they inspire their teammates. Right? They're also supposed to be the Ten Hag's general on field. All I see Bruno doing, I'm saying this objectively speaking. I'm not chatting shit when I say this. He bitches and he moans far too fucking much, right? And again, I know people don't like this example, but I'm going to go back to this example of Liverpool away last year at Anfield. When we got right, I saw Bruno. Bear in mind, bear in mind, United, Liverpool away, right? I don't even explain what that means to my United fans, right? If you're a United fan, you should fucking know, right? He quit as a captain, and again, I'm not saying that the rest of his teammates weren't good because they're all shit, but the captain. I saw him that day, Usman. We all saw it. Ian Wright pulled him up on it afterwards on an analysis, right? And he quit on the pitch, right? Now, this season, I'll never forgive him for that anyway. But this season, right? Whenever we come under pressure, Usman, he doesn't stand out. He's like a chameleon. He fits in. He just fits in with his surroundings. You can't see. He just looks like a very ordinary player. He doesn't have any qualities that excel in where he's standing out above the rest. For example, I watched Maddison against Arsenal. He stood out. He was balling against Arsenal, right?
Yeah, he made a mistake as well, and he still rectified that.
He had a mistake, but he had a very good performance, right? And I think it was at the Emirates as well. Was it at the Emirates? Yeah, it was away at Emirates. It was, right? Bruno, the captain, when shit's the fan, when you face adversity, when you're under the fucking cosh, you are supposed to be the one that says to him, "Oi, fucking switch on, keep it easy for 5 minutes, just take this thing out of the game." Do you know what he does, Usman? Please tell me if I'm lying.
This is something I've actually said. Like, I mean, for me personally, this is one of the biggest issues at Manchester United Football Club, and I think. I mean, you mentioned Roy Keane there. I think Roy Keane's the perfect example. I mean, everyone obviously said Roy Keane was, essentially an embodiment of Ferguson on the pitch. He was the manager on the pitch. And I think you have to look at it. Anyone that knows anything about psychology is like, you got to lead by example. At the end of the day, when the going gets tough, that's when you know that's when you actually find respect for people. You know, when things aren't going your way and the chips are down, that's when a man steps up. And Bruno Fernandes, when the chips are down, does the polar opposite time and time again. If it's not his performances, it's his body language. Is absolutely disgusting. I mean, you mentioned the Liverpool game there, which is completely fine, because obviously that's probably the best example. But there's numerous occasions, even against the lesser teams, the teams that Manchester United should be basically walking over. When things aren't going our way, there's a period where Bruno Fernandes, you can always see him sulking. I mean, where is he galvanizing players? Just watch Bruno Fernandes against Brentford. No, if you go 1-0 down against an Mbuemo counter-attack goal, just keep an eye on Bruno Fernandes if you're at the stadium. Keep an eye on him. Just watch his body language. The guy is so defeatist. And if that's your captain with that defeatist attitude, I'm sorry. Psychology says it's going to run dry throughout the entirety of the team. He's meant to set the precedent. He's meant to, galvanize the players. And I'm going to use my favorite player in the world at the moment, Jude Bellingham. I absolutely love this guy. Like, love the guy. Forget his goals and assists. Forget his GA and whatnot. Bro, the guy is picking fights with everybody. He's on it. You can tell this guy, it means something to him. And I've seen Ancelotti speaking about him yesterday as well, saying about the head on the shoulders that this guy has got is well above his years. And Bellingham for me is a leader. He's a leader. You can see it in him. The guy he's fighting for every single ball. And Bruno Fernandes, just little details, little percentages when he's running. I know this might be like nitpicking, but when he's running, got his head down, his body language constant when we're losing. Like, you can just see in his face, he's not happy about whatever. And for me, if that's your captain, it just runs through the team. The negativity, the negative vibes, etc., etc. And the reason I mentioned Madison, obviously you mentioned him. The reason I mentioned it is because I don't know. I'm sure you remember, but I think it was 1-0 at the time. Gabriel Jesus actually wins the ball off Madison right on the edge of the box. He's through on goal. He misses that chance. That's a big moment in that game. Okay, Gabriel Jesus didn't punish him, but a lot of players, that could have been a detriment to them. Oh, I'm not going to get on the ball. I've just cost my team potential. I got lucky. That could have psychologically impacted him. It didn't. The guy got 2 assists off that. Spun Saka, got the obviously goal to set up Son, Heung-min, whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is, we haven't got players like that. If that happens to our players, they're going into the shell, they're scared, they're not doing X, Y, and Z. And I think for me, Bruno Fernandes has shown time and time again he's not fit to be captain of Man United. For me, he should be starting personally.
But the manager made him the captain. That's my whole point.
The
manager accountable.
I've said it
exactly. I mean, you can't blame the manager for that. But the thing is, for me, the bigger pictures are what I'm trying to say is Bruno was captain. Yeah, true. You can blame Ten Hag. But the bigger picture is that there's not many leaders in that team. Bruno probably is. That who else could you make captain realistically? Casemiro's probably the other option. He's not covering himself any glory. And the only other viable option is Varane. But although I'd love for Varane to be captain, he's never fit. So realistically speaking, Bruno will probably come back to Bruno anyway. So the point I'm making is the squad is spineless, bro. And I've said it. If Bruno Fernandes is playing calm, Manchester United would never win the league. We will never win the league with this guy starting central attacking mid. He's not good enough to lead us to a title. It's as simple as that.
Further, we will never win the Premier League or Champions League while Rashford and Bruno are our main players in this team. Rashford, let's just be honest, right? Rashford's not a bad player, but he's a very, very hot and cold, inconsistent player. He should be the level, if we're being honest about it, he should be the level we're bringing off the bench.
Absolutely, I agree.
Not starting. He just doesn't have the wherewithal to be a starter at Man United, in my opinion. If you go back to last season, right? Yes, he had a fantastic season by a statistical standard, by his goals. And I agree with that. But if you actually watch the guy's performances, and I've been onto this guy for a long, long time now, if you watch his performances, he doesn't bring it up. Like when he's not scoring, Usman, and Zogs, I'd like your opinion on this. When Rashford's not scoring, he brings very little to the team from a cohesive standpoint. He doesn't bring much at all. He doesn't have good decision making. I think we can all agree to that. His decision making is terrible. He doesn't track back. And I don't know if that's from the manager or if that's him thinking that he's made it in football and I'm. What was it?
I do think that is a tactical thing. I'm not gonna lie.
But nah, man, Rashford. You see Rashford, yeah. If he don't score, if Rashford don't score, he does nothing, and he's been like this since he scored against Arsenal all them years ago. It's just because he scores, people forget the rest of the thing. So fans like me, fans like Johnny, fans like yourself, we actually watch the game in 90 minutes. I don't watch highlights. I watch the game. And when I look at Rashford, he pisses me off watching him. Him and Bruno, they're from the same sack of they're the same, bro. Like they're
from the same cloth.
Yeah,
the same, both of them. That's why I think it's ironic that the chance that Rashford had to square it was to Bruno. It's them two. Them two are like.
It was.
It's ironic. It wasn't anyone else. It was these two. And I look at them and I'm like, look, I don't want to go into them too much because I already know they're not good enough. I've already said they're squad players, and if you're winning a title, they might contribute off the bench, this and that. The problem is United have made my man the captain, and they've made my man the poster boy with all these celebrations, right? He had a great last season. Don't get me wrong. He scored 30 goals in 60 matches. He scored 30 goals in 60 matches, right? 60 matches, whatever, right? Scored important goals. Cool. But like I said, this guy, he's done it how many seasons? Top players do it year in, year out. Year in, year out. Not one season and then you're gone, and then next season you're good. And this is what we're seeing with Rashford. But if he doesn't bring goals, there's other players that bring other things to the team, like a Bernardo Silva. If he don't score a goal, he's pretty much involved in everything else.
Definitely.
Other players. There's other players that...
The irony in this, right, is... Do you know what? Mason Mount, I didn't want him at United. I'll be honest.
I didn't either.
My feelings very clear about didn't rate him at Chelsea. I didn't want him at United, right? But the irony in all this, right? He's come in and, in my opinion, he's upstaging Bruno. He's doing things that Bruno's not doing. He's showing composure on the ball. He's working just as hard as Bruno. He's been able to carry the ball. Bruno can't carry the ball, right? And his passes in, like, he plays at high tempo. I've got to be honest. I've got to call a spade a spade. I've been quite impressed with Mason Mount, and I can't believe saying that. I can't believe him saying it.
No, to be honest, I feel like he's going to be a player that the fans are going to like, just from the fact that he's honest, he's hardworking, he's actually good on the ball, he plays it forward when he wants to. Like, he's got a lot of likable attributes. I think he needs a goal for his own confidence, and I think once he gets that, it's good. I don't agree the number 7 given to him, because you just put so much pressure on him, not because of Ronaldo with this and that. It's like you just said, all right, basically be Ronaldo, and it's like, it's not going to happen, is it? So I don't agree with that, but that's not his issue, that's the club. But yeah, I agree. I just think, I don't know, I look at Ten Hag, I'm the Ten Hag out guy here, but I look at him and I'm like, I think he's got half of his players that are going to play his style of play. Because if you see at Ajax, that was his type of players, and we don't have those type of players at United. We got like a mishmash of like, okay, Martinez fits, maybe Luke Shaw fits, but then Rashford don't fit. So that's why we kind of just look like in between philosophy.
This brings it back to Ten Hag, right? Like, we've kind of gone full circle here, right? Whether you rate these players or not, yeah, as a fan base, like whether we rate these players or not, is doesn't really matter. The fact is, yeah, this manager has assembled this squad, right? And we can't keep making excuses and moving the goalposts because maybe you like the manager or maybe didn't get fully back to what you would consider full backing, whatever the case may be, right? But he has assembled this squad, so I have to judge him based off what I'm seeing from the squad that he's produced. Again, I don't think a lot of these players are good enough, Usman. I don't, right? You know, my feelings are very clear. But ultimately, he has assembled the squad, right? So I have to judge him on the parameters. And what I'm seeing, even though I don't think that squad's good enough, I'm not the manager. You're not the manager. You're not the manager. We're just fans giving a fan opinion, right? But he's put this squad together, so I have to judge him based off what this squad is producing. And as much as he's got favourites and the football's not good, we're not even getting results now, Usman. Like, even like last year, yeah, where the football wasn't good, he was getting results. I'm like, cool, fair enough. I can tolerate that, right? But this season, not only is the football not good, not only is this as in favourites, in my opinion, have no business being on the field at times, right? You're now not getting results neither. And I can't be hearing this, but he didn't get fully backed. I think he's been given adequate backing. Do I think the club could have done more for him? Yes, I do. For example, getting players out, maybe trying to get a couple more first choice targets. I hear that. But compare that to Jose Mourinho, to Louis van Gaal, to Ole, he's had more backing, in my opinion, than they have.
I don't think he has. I don't think he's had more backing than Ali personally. I do agree with the Jose and Van Gaal, but I think although a lot of stuff that you guys are saying,
you need to elaborate on that. What do you mean by that? What do you mean he hasn't got more backing?
I think Ali had more than enough backing. I do think Ali had like the most backing that we've had at any manager. I mean, he got the players that he wanted a new contract. I think with Ten Hag in particular, if you actually look at it, obviously if we spent a lot of money, there's no denying that. But you know, if you actually look at, we kind of got his second string players. I mean, the Højlund situation. He wanted Kane. We wanted Frankie de Jong. We didn't get Frankie de Jong. We got Amrabat in the last year of the window. I mean, that's an absolute shit show. Got rid of Ronaldo and replaced him with Weghorst. He did not want Weghorst. He had no other option. Bro, he did Zag, do you not even saw? He did not go out of his way and say, yo, bring me that gun with Weghorst.
Hold on.
No, he didn't want.
Why did he treat Ronaldo like a joke, man?
Listen, I don't care. Listen. Ronaldo, for me, that's a completely whole different conversation. But the truth of the matter is, he didn't get a proper replacement. We got Sabitzer on loan, and then the last week of the window, because somebody else, Eriksson, got injured. So I mean, there's been a lot of shambles from the whole hierarchy for me. Kim Min-jae was an absolute no-brainer to get him on the cheap. There was another French defender as well. I've forgotten how to pronounce his name. But I haven't watched him personally, but I know that Ten Hag wanted him over Evans. I mean, let's not chat shit. Now we're in a situation where we don't have a proper centre-back cover for Martinez. I mean, Lindelof's having to play X amount of games. There are situations where he has been shortchanged. Mason Mount, again, that's the Frankie de Jong money, obviously other players, whatever. But the point I want to make is, although all those things for me are true, it still doesn't excuse the fact that he's picking players that he shouldn't be picking. I mean, you kind of touched upon it earlier, so it's like, and I went on MUTV last year, I think it was March time last year, and I said this on MUTV, right? Basically cooked the Glazers, whatnot. And then I said within the period, like within the last bit of the clip, that whatever Ten Hag does, he has to ensure that he buys players for the system. He has to buy players that suit the system. It doesn't need to be a flashy name. It doesn't need to be a big name. Buy players that suit the system. I actually wanted Jurian Timber for that reason, because I thought he would have, allowed us to start build attacks. I'm sure we'll see that at Arsenal. But the point I'm making is we've got Rashford there and we've got Bruno Fernandes there. You could probably throw Casemiro in there as well, actually, to be fair, to an extent. These players aren't Ten Hag players. Obviously, he doesn't have to play them, but Rashford's obviously there. He's inherited him, and he's a massive issue. He's a deterrent to the team, as is Bruno Fernandes. And Casemiro, was Casemiro's signing? We don't know. But the truth of the matter is, Casemiro was arguably our best player last season. So I'm going to just give Casemiro a buy to an extent. I'm not going to use that. But the point I'm trying to make is, he needs to start picking players that suit the flipping system, and not players that are, they've got the image, they've got the name X, Y, and Z. And I think that's where he's going wrong, and that's why I will be critical of him. So just while we finish the show, I just want to quickly shout out Hakeem. Shout out to my guys, dogs, run some day here. Listen, right at the start of the stream, Hakeem. Thank you so much for that super chat. Obviously, if you are new, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We'll be obviously doing more streams like this, obviously, with the passionate fans, and obviously our conversation. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it so far. I'm gonna finish on this because obviously gone over an hour. For me personally, I was surprised at how good he was yesterday against Galatasaray. Højlund, can we just have finished on a positive? I mean, I haven't seen a number 9 like that show that amount of composure in a long time. Yes, against poor defenders. Yes, against less opposition. There's no denying that. But the composure, I don't care who you're playing against, the composure was above his year, especially for the goal that was offside. I think it was the second goal, but obviously it was offside. That was outrageous composure.
He should have had a hat-trick.
He should have. He was unfortunate that he wasn't offside. But Zag, we'll come to you first. Obviously, this for me personally has been Højlund's best performance by a mile. But prior to this, I have had a bit of question marks. I'm not going to lie, because I haven't seen enough of what I'd expect. Has this given us a bit of a glimmer of hope, at least, that we might actually have a gunman up top?
I'm gonna be totally honest. I think Højlund's best performances. It's not a surprise that he's coming in the Champions League. I think he suits European football more than the Premier League, but he's young, so maybe when he gets the pace of the Premier League, cool. I haven't been that impressed with the other games, but it's good to see a centre forward actually at the club, and because we haven't had one last year. So there's that. I just feel like I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I'm just gonna say, calm down. He's only got 2-3 goals. Calm down. I like what I see. I like the composure. I was like, that was the first game. I was like, ooh, okay. I know it's against Galatasaray and their defense is dead food. Let's just be honest. But he's still done it. But it's just like, give him time. He's still young. I'm not going to get on his back. I don't think he's, oh my God, we got a new striker. He's the next Van Nistelrooy. Leave it. Let's just calm down. Just bring it down. He's good. And if he keeps playing like that, he won't be an issue. So I have to say.
Yeah, I mean that's a very fair assessment, to be honest. I mean, a very level-headed one, which is definitely not what I've done so far regarding Højlund. I need to cling on to some glimmer of hope. I can't lie. Johnny, we're gonna finish with you. What are your thoughts on Højlund? Have you been impressed with him so far? I mean, for me personally, I don't think he's been that good, but quite clearly, this was a standout performance from him.
With that Galatasaray game, for them to miss a penalty and for Højlund to put in that performance, and for us to still lose, that really annoyed me. That's criminal behaviour, and players, they should be getting fined wages for that. That was disgusting. I agree with you. Up to that point, I wasn't really feeling Højlund. I didn't think it'd be. But that game, I was like, wow, if you give me a little sort of glimpse into what I'm going to see in future, sign me up right now, because that was a fantastic number 9's performance. And like Sog's alluded to get into the sort of conversations of like Ruud van Nistelrooy, like let's just see how it goes, because they're big boots to fill, right? But it was an encouraging performance for him. I was gutted for him. I was so gutted that we didn't win that game. I really was. He deserved him and Mason Mount. They deserved to be on that winning side like that night. And I'd apologise to them both on behalf of players, because they didn't deserve that. They definitely deserved that. In regards to the manager, like I say, I have lost faith in him. Just being honest about how I feel right now. That doesn't mean that he can't win me back. But in order for that to happen, Usman, he has to start making some big calls, because ultimately he will get sacked. Simple as that. So, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate that. Big up to your viewers for showing me the love and support. Again, thank you very much to every single one of you. Please make sure you give a like and subscribe to Usman's channel. He's doing this all the time. I'm big up Usman, man. And yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries, bro, man. It's been absolutely quality. Honest to God, it's gone by so quick. Just this last comment here from James. Just a shout out to you, James. James is literally always in the chat without fail. James can't stand Rashford at all, and he has been consistent for about 3 years. So, no, fair play to you, James. You have been consistent, so I'm not going to knock you. Just lastly, so we keep Erik Ten Hag another 5 years in the bottom. Listen, I'm not saying keep him for 5 years. I'm not saying keep him for the sake of it. At the end of the day, like I said right at the start of the show regarding Onana, every single person that plays for Man United, whether I like them or not, has to earn their stripes. No one is guaranteed. No one, in my personal opinion, just comes in and has respect. You have to earn respect of the fans, and it's as simple as that. That goes for Ten Hag, that goes for every single player in the team, and of course that goes for Onana as well. I wanted De Gea gone, but at the same time, Onana has to prove he's worthy of filling those boots, because they are big boots to fill as well. De Gea is a club legend, in my personal opinion. He has been here for a long time. Well, was here for a long time, shall I say. But listen, that being said, it's been a great show. If you are new, please do subscribe to the channel. Slap a like on the video. Like I said, back at 10:30, possibly on my own. I don't know. The family probably bailed on me by the time I check my messages. But we're meant to be playing pro clubs. As I've already said, we're absolutely shit. It's just going to be 7 Pakistani lads screaming at each other top of their lungs because we're all shit at FIFA. So if you want to enjoy that, it'll be a good laugh. Probably slagging on Man United because we're all Man United fans as well, so that should be good. But listen, apart from that, we'll be back tomorrow with a preview for the Brentford game. As always, before we go, Zog's YouTube channel is in the title, so if you haven't already, please do click on that. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. But listen, Zog, I'm gonna let you do your own shout out, bro. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on the show. First and foremost, we should definitely do this again, man. All of us, because it was a good show.
Definitely. Got it back.
And yeah, no, just YouTube channel Zogs, Instagram Zogs, TikTok Zogs. You already know if you haven't already. Subscribe to Usman as well. Putting a good show for us. Subscribe to my channel as well. So yeah, man. Speak up, everyone. Yes,
you'd love to see. Obviously, if you don't know Zog, there's a lot of watch-alongs, absolutely class. I mean, his TikTok's unreal as well. I love it. Big fan. Obviously, I watch all of that stuff. And Johnny, last but not least, I know you're not on obviously content necessarily, but you do your match reactions. So let the people know where they can see them.
Yeah. First of all, apologise if my swearing.
Oh, don't apologise, Johnny. Don't apologise. Everyone's in the chat. Don't do that. You've been brilliant.
Listen,
yeah,
can give me a follow on Twitter, JohnnyFX1. I do Man United Spaces practically every day, and I do match reactions now after every match. So yeah, if you like what you see from me, then please do give us a follow on Twitter. Would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Again, Usman, top man for inviting me tonight. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, my brother. Listen, Johnny is very passionate, obviously. I'm sure most of you guys know both these guys, but listen, if you haven't already, make sure you go show them love on all their socials and obviously support the homies. At the end of the day, things aren't great at Manchester United, and understandably so, we are frustrated regarding that. If people are offended, it is what it is. We just call a spade as a spade. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Manchester United is shit. We got to be honest. That's just the end of it. Listen,
man, you got to call a spade. It is what it
listen,
is.
Bro, we're fucking sat in 10th and we're bottom of the Champions League. Would you want me to fucking cheering? Come on, man. We're United. Absolutely shit show. It's the honest truth. End of the day, back tomorrow, if not tonight, with the podcast, not podcast, Pro Clubs. It's been your boy, man. Peace.